Today we're going to talk about some facts from the 1974 movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of the great things about this movie is the cinematography done by Daniel Pearl. Daniel did a lot of music videos before he did this movie. One of the most famous ones he did was Every Breath You Take by The Police. Another famous music video he did was I'll Do Anything for Love by Meatloaf, which Michael Bay also produced. One of my favorite things about this movie is the cinematography, and I would have thought Daniel Pearl would have got a lot of jobs after it because it's so good, but I didn't really see anything. I do know that in 2003 he teamed back up with Michael Bay and they did the remake together. One of the funny things about this movie is that Tobe Hooper really wanted it to have a PG rating. Like, he did everything. He made all kinds of cuts. He limited the gore, the cussing. He tried everything he could do to get it to be a PG rating. After the rating board saw it, they decided it needed an X rating, which I have no idea why. I mean, it's all suggestive. But anyways, that's what they wanted. They wanted to give it an X rating. And finally, he got it to be an R rating, and he settled with that. Released, it was banned from several countries. It was produced for $140,000, and it grossed $30 million that first year. I think Tobe Hooper lost some rights to the movie because it went $20,000 over budget. So in order to get that money to make the rest of the movie, he had to give up some of those rights. This Chainsaw Massacre is not based on a true story. It's inspired by Ed Gein, is what Tobe Hooper said. But he also was inspired by another serial killer. He said he also studied a serial killer by the name of Dean Corll, who killed 28 teenage boys. So I did a little bit of research about Dean Corll to see, why he was inspired by him. I mean, maybe the luring of the victims to the house and then the torturing and that sort of thing. What Dean Corll did is hire a 15-year-old boy named Elmer Henley. He paid him $200 to lure teenage boys to his house. Came down to it, he was going to kill Elmer. He had him handcuffed, and finally Elmer begged for his life, and he had some other victims also that he was getting ready to kill. Well, Elmer said, I'll help you kill if you just let me go. But luckily Dean had handed him a gun, but instead of killing the victims, he shot Dean right in the head, and then 2 more times in the shoulder. Laura Kett, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name right, but hopefully I'm close. He did the narration at the beginning of the movie, which is another one of my favorite parts. Talking about how it's based on a true story and that sort of thing. He said that his payment was a joint. Now, Tobe Hooper says that he got the idea when he was Christmas shopping and there were so many people surrounding him. The whole store's filled up, probably like Black Friday. Possibly could have been Black Friday, who knows. But he's trying to think of a way out, looking around, and he sees chainsaws. And that's how this whole thing popped into his mind. Tobe Hooper told Gunnar Henson that he could develop Leatherface the way he felt fit. He, run with it, do what you want with this idea. So he did. He decided that Leatherface should be mentally handicapped. So what Gunnar did is he studied mentally handicapped people. He watched videos on them. He listened to the way they talked and the way they moved. And that's how he came up with, the way he worked with his character. But he wanted to do it in the least offensive way possible so that the people that were mentally handicapped wouldn't be offended. One of the most horrific things in this movie is the dinner scene, and it's truly horror. What you had is rotting food, dead animals, smelly actors and actresses, 100-degree temperatures outside, and no AC. The shirt that Gunnar Henson wore in this movie was dyed so it couldn't be washed. He had to wear it for 4 straight weeks. The gas station from the movie was turned into a Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror campground and barbecue. If you watch the movie, you probably noticed that Leatherface has 3 different masks. Old lady mask, pretty woman mask, and the killer mask. The old lady mask was used when he was trying to be helpful. The pretty woman mask he wore with a wig at the dinner time to dress up, and that's kind of what they did, women did in the South. It was a tradition, so they worked that into it. And of course the killer mask, that's kind of obvious what he's doing when he's wearing that mask. I want to do more talking about facts of different horror movies. If there's one you want me to talk about, just let me know. I'll do research and come up with some stuff. Subscribe back and I'll try to comment on some of your videos. Looking forward to building up this fan base.